Alright, so that should be all set. I'm gonna make sure screen sharing works. Alright, can you see what's on my screen? Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, the only reason why I generally tell people to send me a loss is because most of the time, I mean, if you lost the game, there's a good reason. Like, there could have been something you could have improved to try and carry the game. So it's like a very easy way to go about correcting it. But it doesn't really matter that much. It's gonna work fine. All right. You can see that everything's updating and moving properly. Game's going. All right. Perfect. Okay, so let's. So yeah, so as a mid laner, you're not going to be in the position most games to determine whether you invade or not. But I would still get in the habit of just like look at both comps and double check. So you have Morg, Ashe, Ahri, Kha'Zix, and they have Warwick, Ryze, Ahri, and Teemo. So this is actually a comp where if you guys wanted to invade, you probably could. They're lacking. Ryze CC got nerfed, so now it's only a slow. It's not actually hard CC. So unless Warwick starts his fear first, which I don't think he should, he probably should start Q. You guys should be okay because you have the hard CC, the slow, and then you obviously don't start your charm. But if it's a situation where you get a good invade, you can always not start any ability at all, right? And then kind of select your charm if you need it. So you potentially have 2.5 forms of CC here, and Kha'Zix will start Q most times, so he will have a lot of damage. So if you guys want to invade here, you definitely could. But if not, then what you're doing here is fine. Yeah, I'm gonna build this down now. You're an Ahri one trick, right? Like I remember that in your profile. On Kindred? Okay. Okay. So Ahri's your main, but are you more of a mid lane main, or are you more of a I play Ahri and then my second is Kindred? So it's like a one or the other. Okay, okay. All right, this is fine. This is good poke, and what are we gonna do here? All right, so as a general tip, whenever you push your wave, here, so let me go back like 15 seconds. Whenever you push your it logged off you. Whenever you have a wave that's gonna push up to the tower, I'll freeze it when it gets there. Right here. All right, so that minion just got in a tower range, so you know this is gonna push up in the tower range, right? Whenever you're in this situation, the advantage you get, and I'm sure you know the basics of it first, is that once the tower is killing the minions, you're denying gold and XP from Ryze, right? So being in this spot and pushing your wave is really good. However, if you get the wave here and then back off, you're not actually applying any pressure to Ryze, and he's still just going to sit here and then last hit the minions, and nothing's going to be benefiting of it. So the first step is to push your wave like you have and get it here. The second step is now that you're here, you have to play this little back and forth game of like how close can I get to Ryze and keep applying pressure in form of poke or the threatening of an ability. For example, you're level 2. He doesn't know if you have W or if you have charm yet, right? So you could potentially stay here and threaten to charm him and get a big giant chunk of damage out. So if he's smart, he's not gonna step up. He's gonna stay back. But if you walk away, that threat's no longer there, and even though the minions are under tower, he's still gonna last hit them and get all the XP and gold. So try to keep that in mind throughout the game of like it's gonna be a back and forth of how close can you get to put pressure on him without getting in range of the abilities. So like you didn't need to walk that far back, right? His ability range is only from here to here. So once you were about here, you were safe, and you can keep queuing the wave and queuing him. So try to stay like get out of range, but only go as far back as you need to get out of range. Don't just like run all the way back. All right. So is that you that pinged or someone else? Remember someone else? Okay, so that's a good indicator. Cause I was just gonna actually mention Warwick anyway. So you haven't seen Warwick yet, and you know Kha'Zix is here, right? So generally, a good tip to use in the early game, because you won't have wards in their jungle most times in the early game, right? So it's hard to track junglers initially. But there's not too many variations of a jungle path in the early game, unless someone decides to go really gank heavy. So a good rule of thumb is that wherever your jungler is, imagine that the enemy jungler is mirroring that path. So that means that since your Kha'Zix started, I think he started. Did he start red and go down? Okay, perfect. So if he started red and go down, you can assume Warwick also started red and went up. So now if Kha'Zix is finishing his blue right now and he's gonna leave into the river, you can assume Warwick just finished his blue and is gonna leave into the river. See how it mirrors in the exact opposite way? So this would be a really good time. Like once you notice Kha'Zix on his blue, you want to ward this bush immediately. Because you know that Warwick is going to be somewhere in that river, or at least like leaving his blue. And he may go top, so he might not come mid, but he also might come mid, right? And try. Let me. Oh, that's how. Okay. Well, all right. So that's. I don't see it on my screen unless I'm just completely blind right now. Oh, okay. I might have died right away. Okay, so that's a good idea then. I would still ward either here. So there's 2 spots to ward for this. Yes, exactly. It's good practice. So there's. Okay. So where you're in lane, you don't want to walk out of here because you don't know where he is to ward these other spots, but you can ward here, here, or here are the 3 main spots you want to place a ward. The main idea behind that is that this is the ideal spot because that means that wherever Warwick comes, I'm going to draw on the minimap now. If he comes from the top side down, this outlet down, or if he tries to lane gank, you're going to get every single pathing method through the river is picked up by this ward right here. If you put a ward here, he can still walk this way and then walk behind and avoid your ward, or walk down here. So this is the ideal one right here. If you want to get really, really cheesy, if you have a control ward, you can put it on the corner of this bush. It serves the same purpose. It also gets this whole area, but people don't tend to check this bush because they check this one mainly, so you can get the control ward to stay there a lot longer without it being destroyed. It looks like you have an idea he's coming because the ping. Charm him, that's good. And you force him off. Alright, yeah. That was played pretty well. You still had your charm from lane, so that was good. It's back on you. Is he on a ward? No, I'm gonna turn. That's better. Okay. So your goal right now is you want to push this wave and try and apply pressure on that rise to kind of go back to that state you were in before, where you had him under tower, under pressure, and you had the opportunity to deny him a lot of farm. However, that's like your goal, right? So right now you're like waiting to be able to do that. The trigger that allows you to do that is you seeing Warwick somewhere else on the map. So you know that he's down here somewhere, right? I mean, when we had the vision turned on, we know he's here, but I'm going to pretend that we didn't see that. So you know he's down here somewhere because he ganked, you did a really good job of fending him off, and then he ran back to his downside jungle. Bot side jungle, rather. Scuttle's still up, so we don't know, and since Kha'Zix's still on his blue, we don't know if Warwick is on Scuttle or if he's on his Krugs. Those are the 2 most popular places for him to be. if you really want to double check the Raptors, what you can do is you can come up here. You can Q this wave, threaten Rise with your charm, walk here, put a ward down, and then if Rise is trying to close on you, you go back this way. If not, you come back out that way. And that will just confirm for you that Warwick is not at his Raptors right now. And that will give you the information. Okay, so now you know he's not top. You would know he's not at Raptors. He's either here or here. Those are the only two places left for him to be. And Kha'Zix is about to walk in the river. So you're going to get vision on the scuttle in the next 5 seconds. So he'll either see Warwick or you'll know that he's somewhere doing camps. So that's a good way to try and like check the... You know what you want to do is to push Rise under because you're stronger than Rise early game. That's one of his big weaknesses is he's not very strong early game. And his build... Oh yeah, so you see Kha'Zix. He ran into Warwick. He's losing the fight. That's unlucky that you missed the charm. And Kha'Zix dies. Nothing you can really do there more than you did, right? Because Kha'Zix walked out. He face-checked Warwick. You rotated, which was good. You were supposed to rotate there. Unlucky you missed the charm, but like it's not. It's less of a good play on Warwick and kind of luck on Warwick's side than a fault on your side. That being said, now you know Warwick is bot side, so now you have a little bit of liberty in lane to not be too worried about him coming back. Alright, so... Alright, I just still here. So you're getting low on mana, so you're probably trying to find a way you can back soon, right? Honestly, this is like fine. So I don't know if you're doing this intentionally or not, but holding the wave here is not that bad of an idea in this situation. Yep. Oh yeah, no problem. Yes. So I noticed you did that. So I was actually going to comment on that because I don't notice many players in your level that were you intentionally grabbed the minion aggro and then pulled them to the side to avoid them going within tower range. So that was the next thing I was going to notice because that's something that I don't usually see till higher gold. So I'm surprised that you knew to do that. But so do you understand why though, or do you just know that like that's a good thing to do? Yeah, so it does two main things, right? The first thing is that let's just pretend this is the tower range. From you keeping these minions outside of tower range, it means the tower is not hitting them. So this is like very basic, obviously. So it makes it much easier for you to farm. However, the other thing it does is that it holds the wave in a spot that's very advantageous to you. So if these minions were to have walked... Let's pretend that these minions are all missing because they didn't show up yet. Let's pretend that you didn't drag these minions off to the side and they just like walked for free down here. That means that the tower would have killed all of these minions before that yours showed up. And what that means is that when yours showed up, there would have been nothing here to stop them and they would have kept walking all the way to the middle and they would have met in the middle. Because these minions were still here and you kept them alive, now your minions stop walking here because they start attacking. So now you hold the wave back here, which is much, much, much better. Because when you zoom out now and you look at the whole lane as a whole, if you can hold the wave here, not only does that make it way harder for Warwick to gank you, but it means that you're forcing Rise to overextend and step past the middle of the lane in order to farm. This is what's known as a freeze. So this isn't going to actually freeze because of the number of minions, and I can explain this more later if you want. But what you did was you created an advantageous slow push, which means that they only have 1, 2, 3, 4 minions, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 versus 4, your 9 minions will automatically win, even if you weren't here, and eventually push the wave this way. So that's what's called a slow push. But it means that you stopped it here. So let's say that all these minions, let's this little group of them didn't exist, and it was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? In this situation, you would be starting a freeze, which means that the wave is no longer going to push. It's going to even out here, and you're going to hold the, and then when both new waves come, they're going to meet in the same spot, and it's going to keep staying here. And what that does is that it's the same thing I said with the rise before. You're forcing him to stay overextended, and this is a very, very bad spot for him to be because it allows your Kazakhs free ganks. So that's the reasoning behind what LS said. If that makes more sense now. Okay, so now you can... Oh, yep, you go. Okay, so that's a good thought to have. What I was gonna say, we can assume that Rise backed, right? And if we look at the vision, he is backing right now. So what you want to do is, once you confirm that Rise backed, you want to hard shove this wave as fast as possible. And it's almost the exact opposite of what I just explained, right? So if you don't shove the wave, based on what I just explained, it should stay about right here-ish. But since you know Rise backed, this is your opportunity to deny him farm, because you want to back too. So you're not, if you had full mana, you can stay right here and do nothing but last hit the minions and let it push as slow as possible and try to keep it further towards your side. But since you want to back, you want to get this wave under his tower so that his tower will kill all your minions and deny him all that golden experience while you're backed and running to lane. So I'm going to see if you do that. Yeah, so this is... Oh, let off you. This is definitely where you want to be using all your abilities on the wave to shove it. So now he had enough time to TP back, and the wave is in the same spot. So now you're really caught, right? Exactly, because you were not able to back when you wanted to, and now he TP'd back in lane with more mana. And more important than the mana, he has items. So Rise... his item build is pretty passive early on, in meaning that he does not build a lot of damage. So that's good for you that he stays weak until about level 6 to 9, somewhere in there, when he gets his first actual damage item. So this isn't going to punish you as much as normal, but if this wasn't a Rise, let's say this was a Fizz, just for sake conversation, right? Fizz backs here. He's either going to buy a Dark Seal or he's going to buy the first pieces to a Revolver. If you're in a Fizz lane where he now has, let's just say a Dark Seal, Corrupting Pot, full mana, and you're a half mana Ahri, you basically die here, right? Yeah. So you got lucky because you're against a Rise who doesn't build a lot of damage, but in a normal game, this is a spot where you get stuck for having not backed and / or not shoved the wave. So if you shove the wave, he wouldn't have been able to TP to it. He would have had to TP to his tower, and he'd be stuck back here clearing minions. And then you would have been able to back and run back fine. Since you didn't shove the wave, and you didn't back, now you're stuck in this situation, where it's going to be a lot harder for us to get an advantage over him. Alright, so you see Kazakhs coming. Try and bait out the Rise. This is a good gank. Alright. Really unlucky. I think he's going to survive that. If you had hit the charm, he was dead, obviously. But that's just a mechanical thing. You know you missed a charm. I don't need to point that. Like, you're going to work on that, and as you play more, you'll get better at that, and that'll go away. So that gank, though, that was well played. If you hit that charm, he was dead, and that would be a really, really well played gank. Hold on. Same as before. So, same exact situation you're in where Rise had to back. You need to shove that wave. This should be under his tower. I'm glad you choose to back this time instead of like just farming slowly like you did last time, because now at least you're gonna get the back in. But this wave should 100% be under his tower. Oh, let's go back to you. Just because you want to deny him as much as possible, because you didn't get the kill. So you need to punish him for having to back and having to waste his lane. And what did you buy? All right, that's fine. I didn't get off you. All right, so what happened here? Notice how your wave is under his tower now. So because you didn't shove, your wave started a slow push this way. So it's gonna work out in your favor in this case because you're level 6, he's level 5, and you have damage items and he doesn't. So you're in a really, really good spot to basically stand right here and just poke the crap out of him under tower and make him know that if he wants to get farm, he has to lose about a third of his health bar to get any farm. So you're in a good spot now, where this ended up slow pushing and it worked out really well the way that this wave ended up. But again, you don't want to run away. Like you want to stay here and be poking him the whole time because you were in a great spot right there to get a lot of either damage on him or deny him a lot of farm, and you did neither. He got basically the entire wave and you didn't poke him once. So that was a situation where, like, from now on, when you're playing a game and you find yourself in this situation, always make sure that you are punishing them. Shoving a wave under tower doesn't do anything if you allow them to just get the last hit and farm anyway, right? Alright. Alright. Did we see Warwick anywhere? Okay. Good. So you know that he is up here in the jungle somewhere, right? So that means that where you were when you were going back and forth here across the lane a second ago, I would you staying back is fine because you're worried about Warwick, but don't stay on this side of the lane. Stay on this side of the lane because you know that Warwick's up here. So if he's going to gank you, he has to come through this way or he has to come through this way. So by you standing here, you're putting yourself in range. If you stand over here, you've now got the distance from Rise and you got the distance from Warwick as well. So you'll see him and you'll just be able to run back to tower safely. Especially because you'll have your charm up, and if you really need it, your ult up. So just think about you like did half of it where I can tell you're worried about Warwick, that's why you're backing off, but you're still on the wrong side of the lane. You have a ward there, so it's like fine now, but before when you didn't have a ward, that would have been where you don't want to be. Okay, so you spot Rise rotating. That's a good ward. Then where are we gonna go? Okay. Good damage. Alright, so now you're on the right side of the lane, which is good. But rotating to Kha'Zix, okay. That's fine. You're making sure Kha'Zix is safe. So you definitely want to all in this. Good job. Now use your ult to get away. Nice job. Nice, that was good. The only critique I have about that, mechanically, is that if you used your ult earlier, I don't think you needed to use flash there to make that play work. I'm going to watch it again, though, to make sure. So this is fine. You're helping out. You make sure he's safe. Come back. He's gonna get his CC off on you. And then here. Okay, so you need to ult here. If you ult here, you don't need to flash because your second cast of ult will be up by the time that he gets away, and you can gap close with ult again. And then you use your third ult to get away from the Warwick. So that's the only critique there. I think the play was fine. You played it well, but you did not need to waste flash here. Alright, so now we're going to go back to that shove. Same situation before. Rise is gone. You want to shove this wave as fast as possible to get this under his tower. And then, because that'll deny him all the CS on your side. Alright, so that's good. That worked. You're backing. Let's see what you buy. Your lost chapter. Up. So that was well played. What I usually do at this point in the game, you're getting close to 10 minutes, is I will start to look at the rest of the map and try to see what state your teammates are in. So we put the scoreboard here. You can see, oh, I can't draw on that. You can see bot lane's pretty even, almost exactly even actually. They have the extra kill, but the lane's the same. You have an advantage on Rise. You're about 10 CS up, and you have the kill. Jungle's about even, and your top lane's getting absolutely monstered right now. He's not doing too well. So because especially on Ahri, one of your biggest advantages is to be able to wave clear with your QW and then roam with your R. So by looking at the map, you're kind of telling yourself, okay, I forgot that again. Victor's very far behind, and Nasus will outscale the Victor. So unless you see a situation where Nasus is just like way overextended or really low, or it's like a really juicy free kill, you're avoiding top lane right now. By you getting this Victor ahead, he's still going to be behind the Nasus, and he's still going to lose the lane 1v1 and not be able to have pressure, so you're not actually getting anything out of it. So what you want to do is focus on either the Kha'Zix or your bot lane. So just keep that in mind when you do get an opportunity to push lane and roam or rotate where you go. So they invaded Kha'Zix. Yeah, at this point, I don't think you guys win that fight anymore, so I would just go back to lane. Unlucky. They invaded Kha'Zix. Bot lane didn't react to it, and we were a little slow, but I don't think we would have changed much if we got sooner. Where are you going now? Okay. So this is okay. I want to see how this develops. I want to point something out to you though. So Kha'Zix is dead, right? So you have no jungler. So even if you fight over dragon, they're gonna get dragon. Their bot lane is pushing yours in right now. So they can exactly. So their bot lane can rotate and yours can't. And Rise, even though he's not here, you know he's like right here because he has watched you walk all the way down here. So he's probably gonna start walking himself. So if you find yourself, you're gonna be sandwiched by a Warwick, a Rise, and potentially a bot lane right now. So being here is okay, but you have to be very, very careful in terms of how far you commit because what might happen is you might just walk down here, end up having to just kind of like walk away for safety, and then all that's going to happen is you're going to lose a lot of farm mid lane, and nothing else comes out of this. Yeah, so I want to see what happens, but that's what I get before I looked. Alright, that's a great kill. Now what happens? So you got lucky because Warwick was so low, and he was still trying to do dragon, so it ended up being a good play, but that it's not always going to be a situation where he's low. Granted, he was low, so this is a really good play. You guys should get dragon. And their bot lane didn't rotate at all, so their bot lane is still just pushing them under tower. So this was a... Are you going to hit Rise too? Nice job. So the initial decision to walk down here, I can definitely criticize and say that I don't know if I would have done that, knowing that Rise is pushing, bot lane's pushing, and Kha'Zix was dead. However, after you made that decision, from then on out, you played that very, very well. So I want to give credit where that's due. It was also a combination of Warwick trying to start drag with only a third of his health, their bot lane not rotating when they should have. So I want to point that out too, that this is not a formula you should follow every single game, because the other team should have played that better, and sometimes they will, so that might not work every time. But you played it well once you decided to go to the Dragon Pit. And this is also good. We're getting tower plates, we're pushing the wave under, we're denying him farm. This is very good. The only other thing I might do right now is when you were here. So because you're here for free, after you got the first tower plate, there's a low chance you're going to be able to get the second one. You get pretty close, but I'm assuming you're going to back off here because of the Rise ult coming in. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I would have ran into jungle here and placed some wards. either here or here to catch out the Warwick's path. That can help you out a lot. And when you get into this situation where this was basically a free, what's the best word to call it? I'll call it like a freebie where you know Rise is gone and there's no pressure here at all from the enemy minions, and you already got the one tower plate you knew you could get. So there's nothing else left for you to get here. You just want to let the tower keep just denying minions. So this is a completely free time for you to go do something else, and that something else can be getting vision in this case. But you absolutely chunk him out, so that's good. I think you survive here. Oh, that was a good play by the Warwick. All right, unlucky that the Warwick was there. If you, yeah, so let me, yeah, let's keep stealing off you. If you weren't so greedy with the trying to get the extra tower plate when you probably couldn't have got it anyway, you might have already been backed off a little bit and not been in range to get Warwick ulted. Or the other thing is that, did you have your ult up, or did I miss when you used it previously? Okay, okay, yep. So that's unlucky. We'll see how we get back from that. I want to say, I was going to say, was there an indication that Warwick was there, but I don't think we had vision in the area he came from, so I don't... Yeah. Yeah. The trade was really good, by the way. You waited till he TP'd in, you charmed him right away, got a huge trade off. So that was fine. It was just unlucky that the Warwick was right there to answer. And then the Warwick played it really well, flash fearing you backwards to make you walk back towards Rise to get his CC off. So that was just a well-played gank by Warwick. Alright, so you're trying to collapse here. Ooh, at this point, they're gone. Yeah. So if you're Ashe, here, I'll give you, so a tip for this one. The idea to come down with Kha'Zix is not bad, but once your Ashe walked away, so in order for this gank to work, the Ashe needed to have came up here and volleyed them or R'd one of them to keep them in place and give you and Rise time to catch up. Because she didn't do that, she actually even walked the opposite direction. She went over here and then came back afterwards. You knew this was not going to work because you're not going to catch up to them, how far away they were. So I would have just, when you got down to about here and look at your mini map and notice the Ashe walked that way, I would have turned around right then and just walked back to mid lane. Alright, so we're trying this again. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the coming back down here again. Pick up a kill on Warwick. He overplays it. Alright, so I want to ask you a question. I want to go back to that point. When you are... the right time? Alright. Alright, so here, you're going back to mid lane, you're getting the ward on the way there, this is all fine. Here, what makes you turn around? When you were here, you walk back up here, you stopped, and you go back this way. Okay. Okay. So, generally, the alternative to this is that if you... I'll point this out later. So if you keep walking mid, we're going to see where Rise is right now. We're going to pop up a little. You know Rise was... Yeah. So you know that he's down there and not mid lane. So the alternative play for you is to say they're going to re-engage. I'm gonna run mid, shove this wave, and get some free plates and get a huge advantage over Rise while he's wasting his time bot lane and getting 0 gold and 0 experience. So that's the alternative play that you can pull here, is you say, I know Rise isn't here. This is a free opportunity for me to get a gold advantage over him to come back to lane and shove this in. Your bot lane, at this point, if we scroll down and see the fight, they are engaging over Ashe. However, Ashe still has flash, so she should be able to get out of this. Like, if she dies here, that's her own fault. The Xayah is not going to track down an Ashe who's running towards with a Morgana coming and a Kha'Zix coming here to cut off the Rise. She should be safe here. So, generally, you shouldn't have to feel like you have to come down and save her from being engaged on. And you can take the safe play and go mid and get a free lead there. So you do end up coming down. But then I want to point out, it's kind of like the earlier one where I don't know if the decision was the right decision to make, but then once you made the decision, you played it well. So now you're down here, and you're kind of just jumping in. Nothing's happening. If we stop here, look at this Warwick. 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, and he's just running at you. If this Warwick was on your team, this is the point of the game where you're like, what the fuck are my teammate doing? I always get the inting jungler, like, he's going in 1v4, and that's what he does. He runs into you 1v4 and he ints. So he just gives you a free kill. So this should not happen. Like, this will never happen in a consistent basis for a game. So I'm going to imagine that you don't get this free kill. I'm going to imagine that Warwick's not actually bronze 4, and that he didn't just run into 4 people and kill himself. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was basically.
Yes. Yeah, so the initial dash, I don't have a problem with that. But once you missed the Q and the charm, that's when it's like, okay, well, now you don't have enough damage left to one-shot anybody, and you come out. And that's like what you do, right? That's not wrong. But the initial play of walking down the river in the first place to do this, I'm trying to point out that if the Warwick didn't int, you get literally nothing out of this. Yes. So what you want to do for consistency's sake is when you're in that spot, go mid, push out the wave. You would have got a full wave and a half, and you would have got probably 2 tower plates. I think it's 3, but I think one of them's already like half down. Not really. So you sorry. No, exactly. And you would have denied Rise a lot of farm too, because now he's down here not getting punished for being down here for no reason. But the reason why I point this out is that one of the hardest parts about climbing in League is, not hardest, one of the best ways to climb is consistency. You can't bet on the Warwick inting every game and giving you a free kill and rewarding you for the roam. What you can bet on is going mid and getting a free wave and getting free plates, because that same situation will happen every single game. You will always be able to, if you see the situation, go mid, get the wave, and get the plates. You will not always be able to get a free kill from a Warwick ult that misses and he ends up in the middle of 4 people. Right? So it's these ideas of like, what is the consistent play that will always work, and try to get your brain tapped into doing that, because the hardest part about climbing is how every game you play with 5 random enemies and 4 random teammates. So there's not a lot of consistency in League of Legends. So you finding the consistency is how you're gonna climb. So doing plays like this will work 9 out of 10 times. Going bot will work 2 out of 10 times. So you got lucky. It was one of those 2. But next game when you do this again, it's not going to be one of those 2. And that's going to hurt you in the long run. Because now see Rise on the alternative. He's got absolutely nothing so far. He walked all the way down here. He's gotten 0 gold, 0 experience, and he's finally going to get his first minions, but he's stealing them from his bot lane. So by him getting some, he's putting his bot lane behind now. So this is a very, very bad roam by Rise, alternatively. And this is something you can notice, and you can punish him for it by going mid lane. So now you're trapped. You kind of have to stay because you don't want to give up the free tower, right? Alright, I think this should probably fizzle out. So you definitely want to kill these minions and back. I'm assuming that's what you're going to do here. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so what do we get? Finish our boots, get a blasting wand. All right, that's fine. Control words. What's up? Okay, so I want to turn the vision back off again. All right, so we see Rise, so we know this is a free kill on Warwick if he stays. Or Nasus, my bad. Perfect. All right, so that was a good rotation by you. You knew Rise wasn't gonna help, so it was completely free. You still see Rise, but you also know Rise is getting blue though. So what are you doing? Are you typing to teammates probably? Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna see what you do. I want to make a comment, but okay. Question. Why do you go topside? Okay, so the idea of pushing a wave and moving, perfect. However, I would have probably went bot side, and the reason why is because, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. All right, so right here, can you see the minimap? Do you see how Xayah and Teemo are pushing in your bot lane right now? So you know that they're exposed to a gank, and you have a ward here that's a control ward, so you know that they don't have a ward in this area. So you can at least walk all the way down to here without being seen to try and gank bot lane right now. The alternative is Nasus just died. You just killed him, right? So you know he's not topside. So you know that there's no reason to get topside pressure right now because you can't really get anything out of it. Rise just took blue. You saw him take blue, so you know the topside jungle's gone, and Nasus died. So there's quite literally no one and nothing up here right now. So there's no reason to put a ward up here. So what you want to do here is say, I know there's nothing up here, and I do know that their bot lane is overextended. So I'm going to try and push this wave and roam bot for a free kill. And if you're roaming bot and you get halfway there, and then all of a sudden Xayah and Teemo just back up, then that's fine. You just turn around and walk back. But you at least make the attempt to get a free kill and expand your lead. So you have the right initial idea of like pushing the wave and putting vision down somewhere. But now the next step is to say, why did I go top lane? Or should I have gone top lane? Or top side, rather. And in this case... Yeah, so it's like you definitely got level 1 down, which was the more vision. This is great. You got Warwick. But level 2 would be like, what's the better move, bot or top? So in this case, it is a very similar situation where, from Warwick's point of view, right? Warwick already got this camp. He gave this to Rise. So there was no reason for him to go this way. Right? Nasus is dead. So all he's doing this way is potentially walking into a Kha'Zix. Exactly. And that's what makes it hard to learn from your own VODs sometimes. Because like if you go back and you watch this, and you go back to those last 2 plays you made, you're probably like, oh, that's really good. I roamed and I got a kill both times. Because in the context of the game, it turned out to be a good play. But when you spread that strategy or that idea over 10 games, it's only going to work 2 or 3 of them. It's not going to work all 10 games. So getting that consistency down is what's going to make it so that even if you roam bot and let's say it doesn't, nothing happens, they back off, that's the play that is going to work 6 or 7 out of the 10 games. Oh, of course. Alright, so let's go find you again. But just like I've been saying, is that even though I don't think the decision was necessarily the right decision, once you made it, you played the situation pretty well. Alright, this is good. You're keeping away from tower again. Make sure you get the CS. Alright, so I'm gonna try and show you something that's a little more advanced. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So rate. This is gonna tie into wave manipulation, so I'm gonna wait until you get back from killing the Warwick. Great kill. You come back to lane, and you're gonna watch your lane. We're gonna watch Rise. So Rise shoves the wave and backs. So you can pretty safely assume that he's trying to back right now, and he's not going to be in back in lane to pressure. So do you think you need to back right now or not? Not really. All right. I would also agree. So because you don't need to back and you think he did, this is a pretty good opportunity to try and set up a freeze. So what you want to do is similar to what you were doing before, is to pull the minions off away from the tower so the tower doesn't kill them. But you only want to last hit these minions. You want to do as little damage as possible to these minions right now, so that if you can hold them here and keep them healthy, by the time your next wave comes up and meets these minions, the waves will clash and they'll hold this spot here. And then if you only last hit them and let them live as long as possible, it'll delay the speed at which your wave pushes down the lane as long as possible. Exactly. So at the very least, it'll be a slow push, and at the best, it'll be a freeze. This is not going to be a freeze because there's not enough minions built up, but a slow push here is still more advantageous for when the Rise comes back. Alternatively, what you can do, just kind of what you do here, you can fast push the wave. So basically what you do is you kill everything. Now you know his Rise is still here, so this changes it because he stayed. But if you had slow pushed it, let's say it got stuck here, now Rise is back here. He's getting denied. Every single one of your minions that dies to the wave that you kept here, you're denying Rise farm. And if Rise tries to step up to get farm, that's when you just charm him and chunk him out. And now he just lost this lane. He either has to back or he has to start spam pinging his Warwick to come help. So there is an advantage to keeping your wave back here and forcing Rise to step up to get farm, because now you have the advantage of being able to use your Q and your E to chunk him out whenever you want. And you just kind of sit here and you like, if you had kept it, you kind of like patrol this area back and forth and just like zone him off the wave. I'm sure you've heard that term before, because this is where like he knows that he's either going to get chunked or miss all the farm. It's like it's a lose-lose for him. Oh, unlucky. Oh, Kazakhs. Oh my god. Alright, that was well played by you. He missed his dash and his flash on that stupid corner wall right there. That's funny. Alright, so you see Kazakhs and Warwick on the mini map. And you stay mid for a little bit. Alright, you end up rotating. Nice job. I get out now. You saved. Okay, good job. You save Kaz with your charm, but you know you can't take them in a 2v1, so you leave. And this is fine. So you pushed your wave, which is good, before you roamed. So you got the wave to go under tower, and you're denying him farm and CS. You roamed and saved Kazakh, which is good. If you wanted to have roamed sooner, you could have to try and get the kill on Warwick, while it would have been like a 2v1 before Teemo got there. But that's fine. You see Teemo's around Dragon. So now you guys are collapsing. This is good. That's good. And now, oh boy, Warwick. All right. Oh, nice Ash arrow. Damn. All right, that worked out really well. You got Dragon. You win the fight. Now what do we do? Now we're backing. Okay, so I'm gonna contest this back, and the reason why is because you see Rise right here. If Rise was in lane, I would 100% say, yeah, back, reset, buy your items, come back to lane. But because you see Rise right here, that means you... Sorry? Exactly. So this is where I would run to lane, push that lane out, do a probably EUW and some auto attacks, and you'll kill everything, and then jog back, and then back. Just because you'll end up with the same exact outcome, but you'll get one more lane worth of golden experience for free before you back. And the alternative is that you would have created a push, but Rise would have probably rotated to stop it by then, and he would have got the minions. So the lane would have ended up probably equal about right here, and now instead you're gonna lose this whole wave you could have got because you didn't take that chance. So even though it still is like a similar outcome where you back and buy your item anyway, you just lost an entire wave and a lot of tower damage where you didn't have to. Oh, no, why is this off you? Because now you're in a situation where you've been beating Rise most of the game, but his tower is much more healthy than yours is now. Alright, so I'm assuming he's giving you blue. This is fine. Nice. We go back to lane. So this is fine. You see Kha'Zix down here, so I'd play a little safer with him around, just so that you can go help him if needed. But now that he's gone, you're fine again. Wait for the wave to catch. You see Warwick top, so you're not gonna help him. But what that means is that you're free to push this wave because you know Warwick can't answer. Ooh, actually. Alright, if Rise is going to push the wave this much, I would... Alright, so I'm going to... Kind of going off what I was saying before about trying to make a freeze. So, at this point in the game, you know that you beat Rise, right? He's 1-3, and he has a Sterax. He has not a Sterax. A Seraphs, he has not finished stacking yet. You're 4-1-4 with a Ludens and Magic Pen Boots. So, on top of that, you're a level above him. He's 11, and you are 12. So you absolutely demolish Rise in this situation in terms of a trade. So what I would do is you get to this point, right? I think it was a little after this. I'm going to let it run for a bit. You see that Rise is pushing the wave. Let him do this. This is not good on his part. He's making a mistake. So he's basically pushing the wave towards you and allowing you to trap it here where you want. Right? So for the same reasons I explained earlier, trapping the wave here when you have pressure on Rise and you can poke him out is a great thing because you're forcing him to make that choice. Do I go int to the Ahri or do I miss all this farm and XP? So he should not be pushing the Indy right now. So what you need to do is you need to notice that. You need to say, he's pushing this and I know I'm stronger than him so I can trap it here. So just let him do it. Don't hit any minions at all. Let him push this wave. Oh, I'm not. So by you pushing back, you're equalizing the wave, and now it's not going to push either way. Everything's going to die, and it's going to meet right back smack dab in the middle again when the next two waves come. But if you let him push, you would have got to the point where you can thin the wave out a little bit, and then hold it right here, and wait for the next wave to come. All right, so is there anything you think we can do in this time frame where like you push the wave, you kill it, and now we're kind of waiting for the next one to come? Or you could have roamed a little bit, right? Yeah. So Rise has three possibilities for Rise right now. Okay. So. Oh yep. Yes, no, so that's right. I would not have gone with Kha'Zix all the way up here either. That is 100% right. What you can do though is that I'm just back up like another 15. Back a little bit. Okay, so right here. So Kha'Zix ganks. Rise already backed off though, so he's not really going anywhere. So here you're killing the last minion, which is fine. So now you don't see Rise anymore, right? So we can assume one of three things. Either A, he's literally waiting right here for his wave to come back. B, he's backing. Or C, he went that way. Because his bot lane's pushing up, so there's really no reason for him to go bot side, and there's no objective down here, so we can assume he didn't go that way. So those are the three. He's either here, he's backing, or he went this way. So what you want to do is you can kill this thing, but then you sitting in the lane afterward and just kind of waiting for the, so right here. So from here on, your wave is right here, right? And you're right here. And the waves, they're not going to meet until they get back to the middle because there's no minions here to stop any of the push at all. So they're both going to push at the same speed at the same time, and they're going to meet perfectly in the middle. So you have a lot of time until your wave gets all the way up here. And Rise is not going to sprint down the lane and attack this tower by himself, right? So at least until the minions come back, your tower's safe. What you can do is you can move up here. Even if you don't go all the way with Kha'Zix, again, I would not do that. You can get some vision down around here. And then even if you don't have a ward, your body serves as vision, right? So if you just step into this area, you can confirm whether or not Rise went top for your whole team and yourself. So if you go here and you see Rise, you know that's where he is. If you go here and you don't see Rise, well, now that eliminates option C. You know he either backed or he's sitting under tower. So it just helps you with your decision making and kind of knowing where everything else is. And then when you notice your wave gets closer and closer, you just walk back this way and meet the wave. And in the same time you sat here waiting, you could have got more information. So that it's a very minor thing. It's not going to change a lot in the grand scheme of things. But let's say this is a situation where Kha'Zix is going top to gank, and let's just say it's only Nasus here. Let's say Warwick's not here. So Kha'Zix ganking a Nasus, he can probably 1v1 the Nasus well enough to push him off tower if it's just a 1v1. But if Rise is also following him, Kha'Zix might not want to go gank anymore. So if you had moved your body here, and you would basically have told Kha'Zix, yes, Rise is coming, or no, Rise is not, you're safe. Now the Kha'Zix will react to that information. Even without you directly doing anything, you giving information to your teammates will change what they do, and that can affect the game. So that's another way to look at this, where you're not going to be able to take the Kha'Zix's keyboard and decide for him to go top or not, but you might be able to give him enough information to make the decision himself. Exactly. So once again, we're in a spot where we have a lot of dead time or free time to go do something else. Because when you're waiting in lane, you're not doing anything negative. Like, you're not going to get caught out and die. But you're not doing anything positive either, if that makes sense. So now you see Rise, you know he's coming. And you see the Nasus up here. Alright, so did we look at Kha'Zix's health before we went to go help or no? Did we just kind of see them fighting and go? Alright, yeah. Yep. So not much to say about that. Next time though, if you see them fighting on the mini map, that's like, oh crap, they're fighting. I should go help. But before you go help, make sure you pan over and check the health and check the status of the fight. Because if you saw that Kha'Zix was literally at 10 HP and Nasus was literally at full HP with ult up, you don't do anything to that Nasus there. Even if Warwick doesn't come, you still don't do anything to the Nasus. So I would have just backed off there and let him die. Yeah, because we unfortunately died to that. So they're gonna get the tower now too. That's unlucky. But that's a minor thing. Like, you probably didn't need me to point that out. Like, after you die from that, you know next time, like, oh, I should have checked the health and made sure Kha'Zix wasn't just already dead. All right, so here we know there's no dragon up yet. It's got a whole another minute. So there's no immediate pressure bot side, but we can try and sniff out some wards. So looks like that's what you're doing now, which is good. Yeah. All right. Unlucky T mushroom. Alright, so once again, notice how we're just kind of spending a lot of time doing nothing. Just kind of walking back and forth. So like the initial you going and trying to sniff out the wards, that's fine. But once you get once your sweeper goes down, you need to V-line it to a lane. Whether it's bot lane to try and make something happen, or it's mid lane to get your farm. You need to make sure that you're still getting farm and experience. One of the most common ways I see people in lower elos either lose a lead they have, or just not extend the lead and not keep the lead throughout the game is they just kind of forget that they need to keep farming throughout the game. So little times like this where we're just kind of spending a lot of time doing nothing, this is a lot of time where we could have been getting a lot of farm and XP. We're not. All right, now we go bot side. He runs away. Yeah, this is we just back away here. Oh, that is all right. All right, so Kha'Zix dies, and we know that Dragon's coming up, and we know that Morg is still dead too. So we definitely don't do anything here. You and Ash will not be able to 2v4 this. So I say we basically back out, and then similar thing before. Instead of just kind of waiting for something to happen, go be useful. Go back out. Take this camp. Like, do something that makes you... Alright, that's unlucky. Warwick went for you instead of Dragon. So this is fine. Now you know they're in the jungle. I would just back at this point. Yeah, alright, so this is fine. Defend the tower from the assist. Alright, they just took Scuttle. You saw it disappear on the minimap, so you know they're on drag now. Yep, there's a dragon. You ping Nasus out. You want to try and kill him. Yeah, I wouldn't face check into the Nasus, especially because your ult's down now, so you don't really have an escape. You see Nasus and Warwick, so you want to be pinging this Ashe and Morg right now because you guys do not win the 2v2. So if you want to push them out of your jungle, you definitely need the help of other people. All right, that's good. I definitely wouldn't chase that. Okay, I'm assuming you're typing to teammates or something, but again, notice how we're spending a lot of time like not getting ourselves ahead. And because I've now said this like 3 consecutive times in a row, so unfortunately, due to an initial decision that we made and then getting forced out of the jungle by Warwick and needing to back, and now walking up here and walking around, we've probably spent a total of 3 minutes doing basically nothing. So a lot of that lead that we had over Rise is going to start to disappear or shrink because he has probably been farming and getting XP this whole time, and we are not doing too much. Alright, so we've got an ARAM going on. Victor splitting bot. Husk's farming. So, I'm going to point something out. Notice how Ashe is here, and she was with Morg a second ago, right? So, by you joining them mid lane and making it a third person, you're kind of continuing that theme of like, even though you're in mid lane, you're not doing anything because they're getting the farm and XP. You're just kind of here. Top lane has a huge wave that nobody's taking, right? So if I were you, instead of coming mid lane and staying with the Ashe and the Morg, I would have went to top lane and picked up all that farm. Or even once you go to mid lane initially and you notice that it's like, okay, I'm the third person here, I'm not doing anything, I would then go back to top lane after that and pick up that farm. Yeah, so I wouldn't be this reliant to group because, so if you look at the map right now, there's no dragon up. There's no pressure mid to get a tower. There's no pressure top to get a tower. There's no pressure bot to get a tower. So grouping and getting a kill by itself doesn't help much. What helps is being able to get an objective afterwards, right? So because you're not in a situation to get any objectives afterward, you have no wave top, no wave mid, no wave bot, and Dragon's not up. And you're not going to be able to Baron at this point in the game with the team comps, because you definitely lose a team fight at this point in the game. So there's 0 objectives for you to take, which means that grouping, unless you just catch Warwick out randomly, or unless someone's just so massively out of position that you get a pick, grouping does nothing for you right now. So it goes back to the consistency. 1 out of 10 games, you might find a Ryze in your jungle taking wolves for some random reason, and you get a free kill. But that's never going to consistently happen. So what you want to do is say, okay, there's nothing to get here. I'm going to go top and pick up some farm and XP and get myself ahead. So we see them fighting bot. We're trying to get Ryze mid. And we end up walking bot. Oh, we're going back to mid. A good charm. Nice job on Nasus. Okay, good. We get the kill on Nasus. Now we finally have pressure somewhere. We see Xayah split pushing top, which is interesting. Oh, where are you going? Alright, so why do we back off that wave and walk back here and kind of walk around a little bit? Yeah. So once you kill Nasus, that was great. That was a very good play. You got the charm, and you and Ashe completely killed him. Got him down. Now it's 3 mid against the Ryze. You want to push this as hard and as fast as possible to get this turret, right? So this was an opportunity for you to get some map pressure in a game where you desperately need it, because they have 4 turrets, you have 1. And then we don't do that. We kind of back off and try to find something else to do, and that ends up with us just kind of walking around. So, against... Oh, sorry? I think I would agree. I think I would agree that... Because from what I've seen, your team is making the better choices, but you're still losing the game. They have a 3.5k gold lead, and they have 3 more towers. So even though you don't see this part, you just see the kills on your screen, right? And you can look at the towers. So the gold lead is like a very important aspect, because in the game you don't get to see this. So you can assume that they're beating you in gold because the kills are tied, but towers are not tied. But 3 towers does not equate 3.5k gold lead. Like, that's more than just the 3 towers worth. So you're actually a little further behind than I would even think that you should be right now in this game. And it's mostly because when you have opportunities to push an advantage or put them behind and put yourself ahead, you're not taking them. Alright, so I'm assuming you're waiting for Warwick or someone to jump out, try and get a free pick. Vicar gets caught. Now you're afraid of Baron because they just killed Victor. Alright, this is okay. They kill your Morg. Nasus flanks you. Yeah, I'm not going to say much about this. I don't think you played it that bad, actually. This is just a losing team fight to begin with because the Victor got caught. Yeah, there's nothing really to say about that. That wasn't really your fault. That's just what happens. So let's see what they do. Do they end up taking Baron? They don't. Okay, so they're probably afraid that they're too low. So they just grab a tower and then run away. Victor gets a free kill. Double kill. Oh, beautiful. Alright. So you guys are back in the game now. Even after losing that team fight, they didn't actually get anything off of it at all. So now you're running bot to get a free drag because they just lost 2 people. This is good. Victor gets another kill. You killed a Warwick, I'm assuming. Nice job. Rise ints, you get him with a charm. Nice job. And now you get a free Infernal. Good. That was well played. Alright, now where do we go? So we go bot lane. Good. Finally get some of that farm back. Okay, so you saw Nasus, so you know he's here. So why do we go that far in? So did we just miss Nasus on the minimap, maybe? That he was here? Okay, okay. Okay, I got you. Even if he was, and you were able to get the drop on him, if we see his items, so he has Merc Treads and Spirit Visage. So you're not going to burst him nearly as quickly as you used to now that he's finished these 2 items. And he's going to have some tenacity, so your charm won't last as long. On the other hand, Morelos is a great item into Nasus, but with just Luden's Morelos, at this point in the game, Nasus is tanky enough where you're no longer going to burst him, and you have no other help. Like, Morgana's coming, but she's not close enough to help. Like, because even if he came a different angle, you still would have met him about the same time. So I just wouldn't have gone that far in. What I would have done, if you wanted to try and spot him out, come to here, and then put a ward right here, and that will pick up this whole area. So then if he comes in this way or this way, you're going to spot him. But I would not have tried to engage that because you just, at this point in the game, a 14 Ahri against a 14 Nasus with MR items and a finished Triforce, you never win this 1v1 anymore. Yeah, he has to make a huge mistake to let you win that 1v1. And now we lose half our health bar. But so you back, which is fine because you probably would have backed anyway because you wouldn't have wanted to push out the lane much further since you knew the Nasus was in this area. So it doesn't really punish us that much. But I just wouldn't have gone for that. Alright, so you see mid. You see the Scryer Bloom was hit. And you know Nasus' bot and top is gonna stagnate. Go mid. We're pinging out the turret. Good job, you killed the Teemo. Now what are we doing? Alright, good. We definitely want to push this wave and get the tower. Finally get this mid lane tower. We can keep pushing because we know Nasus is still bot. Good. Alright, now we keep pushing. We know Nasus is finally starting to rotate to us because he's missing now. And get a free kill on Warwick. That's good. I would back out now. We have no wave, and we know Nasus is getting close. Okay. Got it, got it. Alright, well, that's good. You end up killing Nasus. Kha'Zix dies, but he kills the Teemo. And can we get anything? Get a free Rise kill. Alright, so that worked out pretty well. Now we are going to get an extra turret, it looks like, as opposed to if we get stopped. Let me get the inhib here. We know the death timers are long enough. We can get the inhib. Now we definitely back out. Okay, good. So I'm curious if we rotate to Baron or not. Okay. You're gonna back up. I'm assuming you just back after this. Let's see if you back or if you rotate. Okay, yep, we back. Get back to here, we promote a wave, we go protect the turret bot. Alright, you kill Nasus on the way to protect the turret, that's fine. You know Warwick's around here somewhere because you saw him running away. And Dragon's not up yet. So I would place some vision down and then move on. Victor's going to push out bot lane. You know top lane's getting pushed in right now. Because unless they left, you saw people up there. And you see Teemo in the Baron pit right now. Alright, so you get him? Nice. You kill the Warwick. I would go rotate towards Dragon now. It looks like you guys are, so that's good. Render for blue team failed. 2 out of 3. Okay, so now free Dragon. That's great. Victor's still pushing bot. So I would not rotate bot here. I want to see what happens, but I don't think you're going to get anything out of this. And either Victor dies or he gets away on his own. Yeah. So I would have, similar to last time, I would have at that point gone mid, where you know there was a wave to take. As we end up finding an Nasus who just runs at 3 of us and then runs away. Alright, so that baits us into a fight. We have to use a flash to get out. And now, I'm assuming this just kind of fizzles out and everything. Victor uses his flash. Alright, so you die, but the team fight's a win overall. So I'll take that. It's not necessarily a bad death. Alright, Kha'Zix dies. Ash gets a tower. Alright. So pushing top is good. Are we gonna back off? Okay, good. So we can see all of them right here. So we know that they're trying to take Baron, or at the very least they're setting it up. So we see them on Baron. We're pinging our teammates to come help. And you're gonna pressure them off, which is good. Don't overcommit. Alright, this is all good. You're making sure that they stop, but you're not overcommitting, just like the Kha'Zix did. Alright, we're definitely scared of that Warwick, so we want to try and get away from him. Yeah, that's unlucky. So yeah, that's a play that I would probably make a lot actually too. It's a mistake that I need to work on myself, is that when you don't have vision on, back up a little bit more. So coming in here and pressuring them off, absolutely 100% the right thing to do. You slow it down and stop them feeding the Baron. Right here, back to you. So right here, we can see the fight happening here. You can guess she's gonna die, he's gonna die, and then that ends up happening. We know Warwick's in the area, so we know he's here. We just don't actually see him with vision yet. So when you dash in, that's probably the only critique, is that since you do know Warwick is here, I wouldn't have used your dash in. But this is also one of those things that it's much easier. Hindsight's 2020. If you were to rewatch the play, obviously you don't dash in again after that. But that'd be the only thing, is that it's hard to predict because you didn't see him. But since you know he's in the area and this is your vision, you get vision from here. That means Warwick can be anywhere inside this yellow region here because you know he's here. You saw him on the mini map, but you don't see him right now. So if he's back here, that ends up being fine. But if he's here, turns out he was, you die by dashing in. So that's just the unfortunate. So they're going to try and chase down your Warwick. Good stun. And they get away. Okay. So their team super overcommits and overstays. Your team capitalizes on that, which is good. Back to you. Running to Baron. You guys get Baron. That's good call. And you go against Anasis. Yeah, so you definitely got here. The only thing I'll say about this fight is that once you kill, once you kill the Nasus, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, so right here, or I'll go one more. What about this fight do you see right now? I can try and get everyone on the screen. Yep. 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 Okay, good. So the last part's the important part. So you see Morgana. She's basically useless. She wasted her spell shield and her Zonias, and she has no health. So she's either gonna die instantly or like run away and leave the fight. Kha'Zix just dove in with about a quarter health. So he's also in a situation where he's gonna die in the next 5 seconds. So realistically, ignore these two. They're either out or they're dead. It's you and Ashe against 1, 2, 3, and a Warwick that is somewhere over here. We don't know exactly where. So, do you like these odds? No. So, the second you kill that Nasus, you're done. You leave right now, and you're because there's nothing else you can possibly affect, and you already got the Baron. So there's no objective to get here, and there's no team fight to win here. So second you get to the spot, you want to leave. Unfortunately, you stay, which allows the Warwick enough time to catch up, and then once the Warwick catches up, that's what catches you out and you die. So the theme I want to hit here is that you're gonna run into a lot of times in League where you have a big team fight, whether it's over a dragon, Baron, a tower, or someone gets caught out and you start a team fight. You don't have to wait for the team fight to completely fizzle out to leave. Once you think you've done everything that you can possibly get as like a positive out of the team fight, just leave, because at that point you staying is either going to get you killed, or even if you don't die, if there's nothing positive left to get out of the fight, you're wasting time where you could have already backed, already healed up, already bought your item, and already be running back out in the field to do something else. So try to think of that in the future when you're playing games and you have a team fight. If you think the team fight is basically done in terms of its usefulness, just leave. Just get out of there and reset. Alright. So they're pushing this down, and then they back. So where do we go? We know Elder's up, so we have to try and contest that because... Oh, and we kill Zaya. That's really good. Okay, they got Elder. You killed Rise. Looks like you're gonna kill Warwick. Nice job. Now, what do we do? Alright, so... you're pinging tower, which is good. You know, at this point in the game, death timers are super, super long. So whenever you get a pick or win a team fight, it's going to be really important to make sure you get something afterward, because the death timers should be long enough where you'll have an advantage to do something for long enough. So this should be an inhib. That's good. Now, I'd be cautious about going any further, because you're very low health, right? So you can't really... Sorry? Yes, so you have to be afraid of a Teemo Shroom. You have to be afraid of a Nasus saying, I'm getting bored, and he just R-flash Qs you and you die in one hit. So you gotta be careful of that range, and be careful of the Teemo Shrooms on the ground, which you can see one of them from the Kha'Zix spotted out. But you don't want to walk on a stray Shroom by accident. Also, Zaya's basically up. So there's really only 2 people left that are down. And with a huge Nasus, a Teemo and a Zaya versus a Morgana and an Ahri that are really, really low and probably can't impact the fight much. So it's really, for the reality, it's a 3v3 right now. So you don't really have an advantage anymore to keep pushing. I would have gotten the inhib and then got out of there. And we stay too long and die. Yep. So that's unfortunate. But it's a similar idea of the team fight. Is once you get everything you can out of the situation, don't overstay. It's okay to get something and then just, even if your teammates are staying, just leave. Because if you don't think there's anything left to get, there's no reason to stay any longer. Okay, so she barely survives. Wait for your death timer. Alright. So we're up. And... Oh, that's unlucky. Alright. So before I say about that, we're gonna go back a little bit. Go. Alright, so I'm gonna ask you something about the map. What do you see right now with this map? Yeah, so that is true. That's one thing. The other thing I want to point out is that, do you see how dark this map is? Yeah, so you have that one control word in the bottom right, so that's good, but what that means is that this whole area I'm outlining right now, you have no idea what is in that area. So, and now do you look at the map, you have no teammates either. So you have absolutely no idea what's over here, and you have no one to support you. So you are all alone. So by you stepping up this far, you're basically telling the other team, I want to die. Because you have no reason to be up this far. There's nothing to get. If you look at the wave, this wave has a super minion in it. So it's going to push towards you. So you don't need to push up this far to get the wave. Or actually, do you have a super minion too? Yeah, you guys do too. So I take that back. This wave is going to push actually into them, because you can see you have 3 in a super, or they have 4 in a super, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a super. Yours is really close to dying, so these waves are probably about even actually. But what it means is that you have to step all the way up here to get this wave. So if you are standing here, this whole area behind you, that's literally on the edge of the area I said where you have no vision left. And because you have no teammates, the only possible thing that can happen by you stepping up this far is someone on their team comes and kills you. Right? So before you run all the way down mid lane and catch this wave, there's a jungle camp you can take, another jungle camp, another camp, another camp, a wave up top. The top wave is basically empty, but it's only right here. This is a much safer spot to be in than right here. And then the wave down bot is doing the opposite, where it looks like it's pushing into you. Yeah, it's gonna slow push this way. So this is a good wave to, if you came bot, you wouldn't have had to come here. You'd only had to walk right about here, and you would have caught the wave here. This is a much, much, much safer spot to be in than right here. Does that make sense? So now you're going to walk up to the wave. You're going to expose yourself without any vision. And even right there, see this animation on the map? That's the Scryer Bloom animation from someone hitting the plant. So you know for a fact there's an enemy right here. And you just walked right behind him. So you basically just killed yourself right there. And that's just, it's unlucky. But you didn't have to see that animation to know someone was there, because you already knew you had no vision over here. So from you stepping up, the only possible outcome was that you get ganked here. It's unlucky that you flash into the wall, but now you've had to end up wasting your ult and your flash, and you will not have them for the next. I can't tell from the way that the replay works if the Baron or Elder are up soon. Oh, sorry, yeah. So the I can't tell if the Baron or Elder are up soon, so I think your ult should be back up before that, but your flash definitely won't be. So you've at least lost flash for the next big team fight, and potentially you've lost your ult too if your team engages within the next minute or so. I don't know how long Ari's cooldown is at level 3. Probably like 40 seconds-ish, I would guess. 40 to 60. Alright, so Kha'Zix is splitting top. The rest of you are mid. How strong is Kha'Zix? He's pretty strong. Alright, so Xayah has a good ult, but then you catch out Ryze, so it all works out. Kha'Zix is going to get a free tower top because no one's answering him. Alright, this is good. You dodge the Warwick. End up killing him. Oh, you guys are going to all die here. So now you're very low, they're very low, and Kha'Zix has to fall back. Yep, someone's got to stop Nasus. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier with Nasus that's hard about it. You guys get him, but so where you do a lot of burst damage and not a lot of consistent DPS, you're going to chunk him out when you have your full rotation up, but then you're going to have to wait for all your cooldowns before you do any more damage to him. So if that Nasus still had flash, you die right there, right? Because of how low you got so quickly. Yeah, so it ended up working out, so that's fine. I'm glad you guys got the kill. But just be careful next time of overcommitting. Like, once you get Nasus to back off, that was your job, just to save the tower and to save the inhib. So you had successfully completed your job there. So you don't have to chase him at that point if you don't feel like you can. It ends up working out, so I'm glad. But you don't have to like full commit. I also know that Kha'Zix like flashed after him, so at that point you probably were like, okay, we're going for this, and you followed the Kha'Zix. But you don't have to always full commit there if you don't feel like you need to. Overall, by the way, I do want to say you are playing this better than I would imagine a silver 2 to play. So on that note, if you can just keep playing and specifically keep playing Ari, I looked at your OPGG with your other champs. You should be climbing. You give it enough time, and then if you can shore up a lot of the comments I've made in this video, there were some micro and some mechanic things, but most of it's been your decision making and how to take information around you and then push an advantage instead of just kind of wasting an advantage. If you can start doing that, you're gonna find out that you get so powerful compared to your laner. Even in this game, for most of the game, you were ahead of Rise in levels, right? You were at least one, and I think there was a point in time where you were 2 levels ahead of Rise, and you were still wasting all this time and not pushing advantages. And these were advantages that you already got yourself. You just didn't know to then actually push them. If you start doing that and start recognizing these situations more, you're gonna see not only are you gonna have like a 3 to sometimes even 4 level lead above your enemy laner, you're gonna have so much more gold and items than anyone else in the game. You're basically going to be able to control the whole game because you're gonna have so much of a power creep above everybody that unless you just walk into the enemy and int, they have to play around you. So it's gonna help you out a lot in terms of climbing. And you're already halfway there. You're already making most of these advantages on your own. You're just not like following through on them. I'm gonna speed this up a bit just because this game is really, really long. And I can see from the bar down here we've got a bit more to go still. You get Nasus. You get Rise. This is great. Okay, so the game should be over right here. I'm just gonna say at this point in the game, 45 minutes in, you have a minute-long death timer. When you die, you guys just killed 2 people, and you have 2 open inhibs mid lane with the wave pushing. If you just go down mid lane, the game ends right now, and you guys win the game. They cannot stop all 5 of you. Instead of that, we're gonna go. Yeah, this is bad. I don't like this at all. This is not ideal. So, because now you're dead. Victor's. Oh no, you're not dead. Sorry. Now Kha'Zix is dead. Victor's very, very low. And exactly, yeah. You didn't need to force an extra fight. So again, it's not entirely your fault because like your whole team made that rotation, right? Oh, Teemo Shroom, don't do it. Oh no. Oh, I hate Teemo. Okay, so that's yeah, that's honestly that's not even I just laugh. Like it's not necessarily your fault. It's just it's unlucky. There's a Teemo in the game. We probably all forgot the Teemo in the game at some point. It happens. But that being said, if you guys never went down to fight the unnecessary fight, you wouldn't have been that low, and you would have walked over the Teemo Shroom and you would have been fine. You would have lost about a quarter of your health, but you wouldn't have died. So even though I don't blame you for the Teemo Shroom, your fault in fighting before that is what caused this to be fatal. So that's what we can get out of this one. But Teemo is so annoying. Teemo's so yeah. I hate playing against Orianna. Orianna in lane is one of my most hated matchups. Yeah, a good Orianna will zone you off the wave for the entire laning phase. Hmm? Yeah, no. Orianna is one of the champs that I really, really don't like playing against her. Xerath I'm okay with only because I usually play assassins, not mages. So I just jump on Xerath and he dies. However, when I do try and play a mage, Xerath is one of the anyone with a lot of range, so including Xerath, are very, very annoying to play against. Alright, so we walk in this fight. Nice, you chunk out the Xayah. You're gonna kill the Warwick, it looks like. Hopefully. Nice. So this is good, and then we see Barons up. But this is also a theme, by the way, in a lot of these games that last this long. There's usually various points throughout the game where one team could have ended the game and then made a mistake that threw it back and kept it going. And it usually happens like for both teams when the games last this long. Alright, so Baron chunked you out, so we are a little scared of staying here. Because we see them on the mini-map, and we know we're very low. They kill Nasus, but Ashe is gonna die. Fucking Team Mushroom again. Victor teleports in between Teemo and Ryze. Yeah, he's just really dumb. Okay, so now your team as a whole is just throwing. So this is a situation where, again, you can't control this, right? You can't control the Victor completely inting right there, or the Ashe wasting her GA, or any of that stuff. However, what you could have controlled was 3 minutes ago when you guys didn't just run down mid and end the game. So it's like, is this directly your fault? No. But is there something you could have done to have prevented this? Yes. And there's a lot of times in League where you're going to find out that your teammates are bad, they make a mistake, they int, they get caught out of position. Stuff happens, right? Your teammates aren't perfect, but a lot of those times, even though that mistake is 100% on the teammate, there was something you could have done that would have prevented that situation from happening. Whether it was warding, whether it was rotating faster, whether it was not baiting them into a fight, whether it was X, Y, or Z, there's usually something you could have changed that would have changed the behavior of your teammate and then made them not be in the position to make the mistake in the first place. And that's a good way to try and look at it. Because you can only control yourself, right? So you're going to have teammates that int and are terrible. So if you can get really, really good at kind of corralling your teammates and forcing them to play a certain way you want them to play, that's going to help you in the long run too. Especially if your backup roles are jungle and support with Kindred and Bard. Those two roles, more than any other, are about trying to fix your teammates' mistakes and prevent your teammates from making mistakes, whether that's through vision and warding or rotations or shot calling. It's a lot of that. Alright, so we're dancing around mid. So yeah, you're not going to get anything here, right, with just you three. You know that Kazakh's is top and Victor's, for some reason, also top. So you're never going to push this mid wave in all the way to here with just you three. So there's not really a reason to be here, because even if you're getting minions, the wave is going to push back to you eventually anyway. So you're going to be able to get those minions wherever you want back here in safety. So you don't really have to be here right now. The Nasus, we're pushing in the jungle. Okay, you get a good kill. Force a flash. Ooh. Unlucky there. Let's see what our team does. Alright, so yeah, this just turns into a huge fiesta. So this was us just overcommitting a little bit, right? So I'm not gonna say much about it there, but it's similar to what I was saying earlier, where when you think you've gotten enough out of a push or a fight, don't keep forcing it. So we're gonna speed this up till you get back. But notice how long these death timers are. Like, it's gonna be harder and harder and harder to keep the game going. Alright, so this game almost ends, so I'm just gonna try and get to the next point where something happens. Alright. All right, so Kha'Zix is very low, and you have Elder Dragon up right now. So in your head, you should be saying, at the very least, you really need to get vision over in this area to spot out if the other team's doing it. Because why is Kha'Zix up here? So your jungler he was very low, so he's gotten some health back, but in doing so, he ran to the opposite side of the jungle where the Elder Dragon is. There's no Baron up right now, so there's no reason for Kha'Zix to be up here, like, at all whatsoever. He needs to be down here. But you can notice that, and you can either start pinging him and getting him to come back, or in your head, whether it's you or Morgana, someone has to start warding this area to spot out specifically if their Warwick is down here. Because if their Warwick's down here and your Kha'Zix isn't, you lose this dragon, and that's very, very bad at this late in the game. Where the next team fight should win the game because of how long the death timers are. So this has to be going through your head of like your win condition is to win the next team fight, and to make Kha'Zix not int. Oh my god! All right, so you guys are on dragon. All right, that's good. You got the dragon. I would just get out of here. Oh, nice job. Don't overcommit. Alright, so you're rotating down to stop Nasus. Emo's pinging Baron. Up his back, that's good. Alright, so I think the next thing that happens is the last team fight, right? Okay. So let's see what happens here. Okay, got it. Perfect. So now you guys 5v4. Rise has a minute and a half. The game should be over now. You notice that. You killed the Teemo. Good job. The enemy Nasus notices that too, so he's frantically trying to push bot lane, but Victor stopped him. This is good. So you need to end right now. So you're dead, which is fine. If you die to win the last team fight, obviously that's perfectly okay. Because the game should end. There's no reason why the game shouldn't end at this point. Going to get top in him. Yeah, so this is game. Alright, so overall, I mean, you won the game, right? So you obviously didn't play that bad because you ended up winning in the end. I don't think you played bad at all, actually. I think you played the game pretty well. I think you played it better than I would imagine an average Silver 2 to play the game. But if there's anything that I want you to get out of this game, it's those two big themes of like, try to drill in your head the consistent plays, because even if the inconsistent ones work sometimes, you don't want to tell yourself like, oh, this is like the optimal strategy now, and then you do it the next game and it doesn't work, and you might not notice it as a negative because it might just be like a roam that turns into nothing, but by you roaming and getting nothing, you're wasting a lot of time and you could be somewhere else, right? And the other thing I want to try and get out of this is, if you have to rewatch this, I'm gonna upload this onto YouTube as a VOD, so you can rewatch it if you want to, and like speed. This is gonna be a long video, so speed through it to get to the points you want. But try to recognize situations where you have an advantage and make sure that you're gonna capitalize on that advantage and take it. Because there were a lot of spots in this game where you could have got much further ahead than you were, but unfortunately we didn't do that. Are there any questions you have about this, or just like, even if I didn't cover something yet, like something that you wanted to know that maybe I missed, or like anything in general? Yeah. Okay. Here, let's go look at the mid lane. Let's just drop a random example. So let's say we're in mid lane right now, right? So you're saying that if you're in a losing matchup, so like they have pressure on you. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so if you are all right, do you want to be in a losing pressure matchup or a matchup where the enemy has kill pressure on you? Like if you were playing against a Fizz who can just kind of kill you if you miss position, or let's say that Rise, let's say the Warwick camped the Rise early on, so now you're still against a Rise, but he's just stronger than you. Okay, so that one is trickier, where you can definitely still benefit from a freeze, but like you said, if you freeze it here, you're no longer standing here to pressure him off the wave, because if he can win a trade against you and he can beat you, he's not going to be afraid, right? However, what the freeze can do, even if you're weaker than he is, by freezing it, it still forces him to come here. That's when your Kha'Zix is supposed to come and help you out for a free gank. Because the sorry? Exactly. So by you freezing, the ultimate thing, like the only thing you're actually doing is you're changing the position of Rise in lane. You're forcing him to come up to here to get any farm at all. Now, if you're ahead, you can capitalize on this yourself without any help at all by pressuring him off the wave. But if you're behind, that's where Kha'Zix, you start spam pinging Kha'Zix to come here and gank him for free. And then that's how you get back in the lane and get ahead. Yes, exactly. So it's especially useful against mages that lack mobility, because once they step up here, they've trapped themselves. It's very, very easy to get ganked if you're in this part of the lane for them. The alternative is, let's say you're against an assassin who wants to just jump on you and kill you. You still want to try and so assassins are tricky, where you should be able to beat an assassin in lane because you have ranged abilities and you have a lot of AoE wave clear and you have poke. Most assassins might have one ability that has some of that, and then everything else is going to be melee on top of you or a movement ability, right? So their goal is to catch you out of position or wait for you to waste your safety net. In this case, your safety net is your E. So with Ahri's charm, if an assassin jumps on you, you charm them in the face, and you get a free charm and a free trade, and then you just walk away. So what an assassin's going to do is they're going to wait for either one of two things. Either you to waste your charm, that way you can't stop them anymore, or for you to waste your damage. So if you like Q the wave to do damage to the wave, let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's say there's an enemy Fizz in your Ahri, and you're standing here. The two things he's afraid of is your Q and your E, because your E stops him and gives you a free trade with your Q to do damage. But you need both. You need the CC to stop him and the Q to do the damage. If you waste one of those on the wave, he's no longer afraid of you, and he's going to jump on you immediately. Because now he either has more damage than you because you wasted your Q, or he outtrades you because you don't have any CC anymore. And that is your advantage against an assassin in lane. It's keeping them off you with your CC threat. So this would be the opposite scenario, where it's not necessarily a Rise pushing you in, but you're still going to have a wave push because you're an Ahri, but they're going to have kill threat on you. So your goal is to hold your E and hold your Q to maintain that threat that you can always stop them and get a trade out, which will prevent them from jumping on you. And then if they do still jump on you, you just eat them in the face and you basically chunk them to half health. So that would be those two types of matchups for you, is like your overall strategy to kind of keep that advantage. And if you want to use that freeze on an assassin, that also works, because that forces them to have to dive you, most likely under turret, to try and get a trade or a kill. And with assassins, not all of them, but a lot of them have mostly melee abilities. So if they want to break the freeze and kill the wave, they're going to have to walk all the way up to it for the most part. So was that help what you wanted to ask, or is you still having a different question? Okay, awesome, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, it is. But leaving Kindred as a secondary. So I would. So this is what I would do personally. When I look at your OPGG, obviously I don't know your history. I don't know your favorite champ. I don't know what you play in normals. All I can see is your win rate and your OPGG. Your Kindred win rate is bad. So when you have a champion, and like if you look at my profile, I have a champion on there that has a bad win rate too. And the big fix that I've got of that is I've just stopped playing that champion in ranked completely until I can spend time in normals on it to get better at it, and then I can bring it back into rank. Because if you look at your 2 win rates right now, let me pull this over here. So your 2 win rates are 54 after 80 games and 38 after 16. Even your bar is only 42 after 12. So Ari is clearly the champion that you're climbing with, and the best way to think about it is think about it with consistency. Go back to that consistency idea I brought up earlier, where over 10 games, what's going to happen? So that means when you play Kindred, you're losing LP on average. Just by queuing up as Kindred, there's a better chance you're going to lose than win, which means every game you play on Kindred, even if you might win that game, over the course of 4 games, you will net lose LP with your current win rate. So if you don't play like literally any other champions and you need to have a secondary role, and let's just say it's jungle, keep Kindred as your backup for now, but I would either spend time trying to improve your Kindred skill or say maybe Kindred isn't great in the meta right now and I'll put her on hold until she's better and I'll pick up another backup for now. Um okay. Yep. That's definitely the way I'd go about it then. Yeah, so I actually don't think you need much more than 2 champs, but you definitely need at least 2 because you at the very least you need 1 for your 2 roles you have to queue up as, right? That's like bare minimum. And you have that. You have Ari and Kindred. I consider your Ari pretty good. I have not seen you play Kindred. I'm actually a jungle main myself. I main jungle and mid both, so it matches up pretty well where you play a jungler and a mid. That's the same strategy that I do when I play ranked. I have my main mid laner is Fizz, so I keep using him as an example. And then my secondary champ, I either play Jax or Master Yi in the jungle because they're very easy to climb with. Um, but beyond those 2 picks, everything else down here, it's extra. Because unless your main pick is contested in the meta, like let's say Ari is really good in the meta right now, so there's a good chance Ari might be either picked or banned, then you definitely should have a 3rd pick, which would be like a backup mid laner, right? But if Ari is not anything special in the meta, and you can get her 90% of the time, you're a mid laner, it would still help to have an extra pick just in case, but you don't really need it, to be honest with you. Um, so I'd focus on Kindred, or I'd pick a new jungler to make your secondary for now, and then go back to Kindred when the meta favors her better. Anything else? All right, awesome. So I will post this online if you wanted to go back and reference it again, and then you have me on Discord. So if you have any questions later on you think of, just feel free to message me. Yeah, of course, dude. Of course.